Hey, Low.
The real Freddie Lowe.
What's good, bro?
Hey, man. I just wanted to congratulate you on
Thank you.
2 episodes. I'm extremely
Yes.
proud of you. I'm glad I could be a part of it. I saw that you were doing this end of the year wrap up, and I just wanted to say congratulations. I'm looking forward to some major things from you in 2022. You've had some incredible guests, some great interviews, and I got to go to work early in the morning, getting ready for bed. I'm watching this NBA right now, but I just wanted to say salute. Thank you for having me be a part of it, and congratulations on a good run.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. It was awesome to have you, man. Episode 20. And look it, we're on 42 right now. You were
Incredible.
that midway
Incredible.
point, man. Yo, Dart Adam, salute.
Peace.
What up? Hey,
All
what
right,
up?
Adam, take care, brother. What up, Dart, man? Good to see you. We actually got it right this time, this time around, huh?
Yeah, well, what actually happened was I realized later you told me I had never updated my phone and I had never updated the new version of Instagram. So
Yeah.
I couldn't actually go live that time. And I was like, what went wrong? I was like, oh, everything.
We was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Nah, it's crazy, but we got it right. Ron Fest, salute, bro.
Yo, what up, bro?
My guy, Chad, what's good, man?
Chilling, man. Congratulations on the end of the season. And most of all, man, being consistent, man. You know, the hardest thing to be is consistent, brother. So congratulations.
Appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I mean, listen, I'm very fortunate and blessed to have both you guys on. Dart, you know, we went on your platform because we couldn't get the connection right. It was a great interview. You were actually, Dart, you were episode 13. Rhyme Fest, you were actually, episode 9. You were early in the game.
Yeah.
And now we're on 42, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah, Ron, do you know Dart Adams?
Have we ever met, brother?
Met? Nah, not face to face. Nah, we have mutual people.
Oh, word. Well, it's good to see you in person, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been hearing about you for years, tearing up everything in Chicago, in the whole Midwest, being one of the freestyle legends, being one of the great ghostwriters of our time, writers in general, so, man.
Yo, you know what I say about ghostwriters, bro? I always be like, it can't be a such thing as ghostwriters if the person is still living.
Yeah, exactly. But also the crazy thing is that, like, the thing about, like, ghostwriting has always been controversial, and I always try to explain to people that, first of all, when you make music and you have a studio budget and you have a time that you have to deliver, all the things that come in with the music industry fall in. So it's like, if you're a songwriter, you're a songwriter, regardless of what the genre is, sometimes people need help, sometimes people need like a line, sometimes, it's songwriting is a creative process. Anybody that knows anything about music knows that. But in the genre of rap, it's like it's frowned upon because you're supposed to come to the table with everything. But anybody who knows anything about MCing going back to 1977 and now knows that that's not always the case. There's always been collaboration.
Yeah, there has been, but hip hop is a lot like blues and jazz, where we talk about each other real bad. Mm-hmm. We be like, oh, that person can't, and jazz, it used to be like, man, you can't play, or you ain't this, or you ain't that. Like, rap music has taken I think the hip hop has taken the competitiveness of music to the next level. Like, but yeah, I think to your point, like, collaboration is key with anything. I don't know who can make a complete piece of art today and do everything that it takes to get that art out there and not collaborate equally for a powerful piece of art. I mean, you may have a good piece of what your thing is, but I think we all need collaboration. But hip-hop, would you say that hip-hop has always kind of been selfish? Like,
yeah.
one of the traits of hip-hop, selfishness.
Well, yeah, because the idea is that you have to do it all yourself, even though when you go back to the early days of probably like groups, right, from 77 on, Now, you mean to tell me that everybody was sitting around in a circle writing 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars? No. One person wrote the routine. Everybody learned the routine. Somebody else wrote a routine. Everybody learned the routine. So somebody might have been spitting bars that they necessarily didn't write for years that people knew.
Well, I want to go even deeper. So are the messages we getting from hip hop selfish? You know what I'm saying? Like because it's selfish in its creation, is it also teaching selfishness?
I mean, considering it started out as a first-person narrative, and it was always from the superhero perspective. You know, you're always the hero, and then it came down to later on being about, you know, being more like vulnerable later, and then people were like, we want to go back to that old narrative. In a sense, yeah, because it was all about promoting yourself at one point, or your DJ. It was your DJ or you, or how dope you are.
I don't mean to cut you off, because let's keep this going, but I want to salute Ricky Shubio for jumping in. This brother is an amazing photographer. Creative. You know, he takes all your favorite pictures. Whenever you see foot action in those photos, that's the photographer, man. Great photographer. And he was episode 19. So yo, thank you, man.
Yo, appreciate it. Definitely had to hop in for the wrap up. Y'all got legends in the building, man. I'm just happy to be a fly on the wall. You know, y'all are talking about some real stuff. You know, you talk about hip hop. You know, you look at it compared to a lot of other creative forms, and y'all can definitely just tap in on that topic where y'all were talking about. You know, it's always been looked at as a competitive sport. You know, even back in the day, you know, somebody jumped out and said, you know, this is why I was dope, and then you had the next man follow up and was like, you know, well, he was cool, but I'm better than him because I could do this, that, and the third and all that. So it's always been that thing for a long time, at least until now, since y'all mentioned that vulnerability and talking about others, where it was just like, you know, speaking of self, and why you being the greatest rapper or greatest MC or the greatest DJ, or you got the greatest sound or performer or whatever it is. So it is one of the forms of creativity that does really speak to self. So it is true, man.
Oh yeah, that's true. And it's super competitive.
I mean, when the Kid Cudi like wave came up and people started talking about their inner turmoils and their demons and stuff like that, DMX kind of did it on kind of opened the door early on. Like,
hey, bro, we got to go back to Scarface. Day by day, I'm possible to cope. I feel like I'm the one that's doing dope. Like sometimes we got to take them street stories too. Like when he said, what Scarface say? I had a girl that was down with me, but I felt like she was out to get me. She helped me out with this, but she was just another bitch. Now she back with her mother. Now I realize that I love her. Yeah. Come on, man. My mind playing tricks on me.
But, I mean, what's crazy is Mine's Playing Tricks on Me drops in 1991, and then Mr. Scarface's Back drops right after it. So Scarface and Ghetto Boys are both at the top, or in the same time space, like coming at the end of 1991. That's 30 years ago. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, I want to talk about them photos too, man. I want to talk about what does it take. Like, okay, I can think of a picture in my mind and I can create a story that's a rhyme, but what does it take for you to see with your eye things happening in real life, bro, and capture it so that we have a moment forever? Like, how do you, what bag are you digging in your spirit to pull that out?
So what's funny is my pops is a musician. So that whole seeing sounds element, I grew up in that, like how y'all see music, where certain people hear music, y'all can see music at the same time. What did it for me is my eyes are always trying to look at something fresh and new every time. So I'm seeing lines, I'm seeing colors, I'm seeing shapes as I'm constantly moving, and I'm placing and creating things from that point. So the same way y'all are seeing sounds and constantly morphing things and hearing things and stuff like that, like, you know, you can hear a rhythm out of nowhere, just probably going back and listening to certain things like a great beat maker or something like that, or a producer. My eyes are almost moving that same way. So I'll be walking. If I was taking a flight and was in the airport and I saw some lights that looked dope, I say, damn, I could see those lights and see the picture before I took the picture. I could see the visual before I took the visual, because I specialize in trying to do visual storytelling. So everything I do has a connection, has a layout, has a story, and all that stuff. So that's how I do it. So that's one of those things.
Absolutely. Dart Adams, last time you were on, we were talking about your book, which is still available on Amazon, but you hinted at writing another book. Now, if you guys are not familiar, Dart Adams is an amazing writer. He's an author. He's a journalist. What's up? What's new?
So April 5th, 2022, that's the date as of right now. My next book, which is going to be coming out through Kingston Imperial, which is on Penguin Random House, it's a book called We Became Evil, a story of survival and perseverance. It's an incredible story about a man named Sleeman. He's a Palestinian refugee who left Beirut. His family moved to Germany. They left Germany, ended up in Denmark. All right. So he grows up in Denmark, where he has to deal with police. He has to deal with racism, xenophobia. There's a heavy gang culture in Denmark you don't know about. So if you're an immigrant kid and you're an Arab in a European country, imagine all that you have to deal with, right? So this book tells his entire story from that unique perspective of being a stateless Palestinian immigrant who can't become a citizen, but he's harassed by police. When he goes into school, they treat him like trash, and he ends up in gangs, and he ends up leading gangs, and he gets out and becomes one of the most famous Dutch-speaking rappers in the world. You could go on YouTube and find his songs all over the place, and I just decided to help out and tell his story. So it's Sleeman with Dart Adams. That's coming out April 5th, 2022. And there's very little MENA representation in books, so you will usually see it in like the refugees or some other subgenre, when it really should just be like a rap biography like anybody else's.
Incredible. Incredible.
Wow. Yo, can I ask some questions about that, Dart?
Yeah,
Hold
sure.
on real quick before you start, Rhyme. Ricky, stay in, but I want to there's people waiting, so I'm going to let somebody else in.
Gotcha.
All right, brother? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Yo, Dart, that is such a crazy story. It reminds me of the guy from Yemen that was a rapper who sold like flowers or whatever, and he started the Arab Spring. He set himself on fire to protest and set off a revolution around Arabia. This is recent, 2010. Set off the whole Arab Spring because he was protesting the way the police was treating him. And he was protesting the way, you know, they were just, I mean, when you go, I've been to some of these places, and the way these people are treated, you talking about a stateless Palestinian, you know, sometimes black people complain about the country we in. Imagine if you were kicked out of your country, like you go, nowhere you go in the world are you looked at as a citizen of nothing. Yeah. And that's what some of these Palestinians be under. And it's like, I can imagine, and they use hip hop. Everywhere I've gone and seen this, these guys use hip hop as a tool, as a weapon, and as a shield. They use music to spread the word. Yo, hip hop is the like historically fastest growing language I've ever ran across. I don't know. I can go anywhere in the world, and when somebody start rapping or doing anything affiliated with hip hop, we can speak the same language. And I've seen people set off whole revolutions using hip hop.
Yeah, man. Like there's a documentary, Slingshot Hip Hop. There's what do you call it? Thing Rising, Favela Rising. There's Shake the Dust. Shake the Dust was an amazing one because it was just showing how hip hop in every corner of the world. You know, there were the slum gods of Mumbai, you know?
Yeah.
So like hip hop hits every corner of the world, whether like you understand that it does or not. Any corner of the world you can go to, you're gonna see Tupac murals on the wall anywhere. Hey, yo, what up, GIs?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, great conversation, but we got GIs in the building. GIs is an incredible rapper coming out of Massachusetts. Go ahead.
Now, I was just saying peace to all the kings in the room, man. I love the conversation, man. Real talk.
Yeah, GIs was actually so Rhymefest was number 9, and then episode 10 was GI. So you came right after Rhyme Fest, early on in the series. And when you came on, you were promoting your album. What was it? So close yet so far?
Correct. Yeah.
What have you been doing since? How's the album? How's the traction?
Well, hold on. Well, first off, just because I want to acknowledge everybody in the room first and foremost, man. Obviously, you know, we've got a standing relationship. Dart, I definitely, you know, we go back some years. So peace and love, my brother. I heard about the book.
To the MySpace days.
And whatever I can do, please let me know. And Ron, man, dog, I'm a huge fan, my brother. And you know, nothing but love and I want to give you your flowers, man, as one of the predecessors before I got a chance to get here. You definitely one of the people that I've been looking to as one of the wordsmiths whose pen I've always, you know, like admired and respected.
Strong pen.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
I want to start there. I just want to start there.
Thank you.
To answer your question, man, I mean, you know, I'm really working the album, working the project. I've been doing, you know, trying to get as much press as possible. And I'm currently in the studio working on the next release that'll be out in 2022. So I'm back in the trenches, man, to be honest, just cooking, you know, just cooking, brother. Yeah, man.
I love it, man. I love it, man. I love the grind. Definitely, Che, I'm gonna send you some of G.I.'s music. He's very talented, very talented.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I see Mr. Peter Parker in here. Yo, Dart, I'm gonna bring you right back in. Stay in. I'm gonna let you go for a minute. Let me bring Peter Parker in, and then we'll keep this conversation flowing.
Yo, what up, Pete?
All right, yo.
Fam.
Yo, Rhymefest, what's good with you, man? You got good energy right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm happy to be here with y'all fellas, man.
Yo, I appreciate it. Listen, before we let Mr. Peter Parker in, definitely, thank you for hopping on, bro. First of all, you didn't have
know what it is, because we talking shop. We talking love. We talking music. We talking, man, this is alchemy theory. Hey, bro, it's like you got a whole bunch of wizards on the phone, bro.
Let's go.
Magic, bro.
Let's go, man. It's good energy. That's what it's all about. Listen, the Low Theory was built around just listening to people's stories, you know, learning about their growth and having that good conversation. You know what I mean? And I see, you know, people will social media nowadays, people will probably gravitate towards someone who has a large audience, large following, right? Bro, I've gotten to lock down huge people with the small. I don't have a lot of followers, but it's about the genuine conversation. It's about being authentic. It's about being green. It's about being organic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me let my man Peter Parker in here if you guys are not familiar.
You also been consistent, my brother. Let's add that to the pot too. You know what I mean?
Peter Parker.
Hold on.
Okay.
What's good? I can't believe you bumped Dart Adams for me. Are you kidding me? It's like the best. Yo, he's the best. Has the best Twitter account ever, man.
No, he's amazing. Man. Dart Adams is amazing. But I mean, I had to make some room somehow, man. I'm gonna bring him back. Don't worry.
Tough, bro. You're gonna bump Dart? All right, we'll figure it out.
Me and Dart got to get up.
No, you guys have to.
We got to get up.
And the way he tributes Boston and educates people to the real Boston and the neighborhoods and stuff like that, and his consistency with that is inspiring to me, because that's the Boston that I know, that I lived in, and that is really kept out of the movies and kept out of the mainstream media. And he's on a mission to let the world know about the Bobby Brown Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Incredible. Yo, Pete, I got a question, bro. Like,
what up?
Okay, if somebody asks me what is the spirit of Chicago, I could really tell them what Chicago is historically, spiritually, why we are the way we are. What is Boston, man? What is the heart? Like I don't think we really know. Don't nobody really know, bro.
No.
Like, why is Boston so urban, so hip, so racist, yet so together, yet so hard? Why don't nobody want to fuck with Boston? Yet Boston it's like a country of its own. What is Boston, bro?
I was just gonna say, Peter. I want you to answer it, Peter. But but Dart would have been that guy to answer.
No, Dart's the one. And now,
you need to ask Dart that
I
question.
never really thought about that. What is Boston?
So hold on, before keep the answer in your head. Before you answer, Peter Parker is an incredible DJ. Okay, when we're talking about mixed show DJs, when we're talking about heavy hitters, he's a part of the heavy hitter crew. This is that guy, okay? And he is originally from Boston, but he's living in Minnesota right now.
Right,
give your take in Boston, man.
All right,
of Boston.
Shot the GIs, a real one, a friend of mine, a talented artist, my guy. Me and Fest go back to like 2007, hanging out in Minnesota when he was performing out here, when he had that album, that dope album.
Oh, so you're familiar, Fest.
On J Records.
Yep, Blue Collar.
I remember, dude, I've been kicking it with Fest off and on for years. A great person. Great.
Love it.
No, the question is loaded, really. I would tell you from my experience now that I've been out of town for like 15, 16 years, it's an immigrant city, right? Like, it's filled with white people to an extent, but everybody I knew was like second, third, or first generation American. A lot of like Eastern Europeans, Irish, a lot of Italians. That specifically,
they had to prove themselves. They had to prove themselves to even be in the country.
Yeah. Today, there's a sign in my man's kitchen that says "Help wanted. Irish need not apply." Right in Boston. That's a Boston sign, right? So to think about these people, that dynamic goes. I'm Polish, Irish, and a little Russian. So I'm third generation American. Right. But then when you come to the Midwest, people have been here for 10 generations. It's a different vibe out in the Midwest. So I would say Boston is like a kind of a fucking underdog immigrant city. And when you talk about the real Boston, and when I talk about the neighborhoods, Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, Jamaica Plain, they're filled with Cape Verdean people, Haitian people, West Indian people, all different layers and levels and ethnicities all through the neighborhood. So you could be an outsider and say, well, that's the black side of town. But the Haitians and the Cape Verdeans and all the levels and layers to it. So it really is, in a lot of ways, dubbed a college town, but it's kind of an immigrant city in a lot of ways.
It's an ethnic city.
That's what it is. Ethnic.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it is because it's white, but for someone when I asked a girl,
no, it ain't just white though. It's not like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It's like, white.
It's different.
It's white immigrant. It's white people that came from all types of shit.
Listen to me, man. You get it now. You get it.
And let's not. I mean, let's not overlook the
Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Like.
And the history here, you know what I'm saying?
Big time.
From your Malcolm X's to your Martin Luther Kings, like there's just a lot of history here that's overlooked. Right. That's not properly.
He didn't let me get there yet. Because when you talk about what Dart Adams does, he talks about neighborhoods that have really been like kind of marginalized in the story of Boston.
Yep.
So it means a lot to people that lived in those neighborhoods that the story is told correctly, because those are, to be honest, they're the best parts of town. You know what I mean? Like when I came and worked, I have a very unique story. I grew up in like right on the edge of southern New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts when I was young. And when I got into the music industry and I played basketball in college, I went to Roxbury and was like accepted and brought into Roxbury. And so I went places that a lot of people where I grew up wouldn't even visit during the daytime. And I was brought in and loved and accepted in all these neighborhoods because we gave through the music fest. So I talked about Dorchester, Blue Hill Ave, Roxbury, Warren Street, Dudley Square. We were there for years. I'm talking about 7-8 years I was out there. So I got a chance to see it. And when Dart talks about it, it really resonates with me.
Is there, when you hear this stuff, Ron Fest, is there a comparison to Chicago in essence?
I mean, man, bro, Chicago deep though. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Boston is, and that's when I think about what he's talking about. And Chicago got a heavy Polish community, heavy Irish community, heavy Black community.
Big Irish. I've been out there. I've seen it.
Bro, we got a heavy Hispanic community. You know what I'm saying? And so when you mix all of that together, Chinatown is big. You know what I mean?
Big in Boston. Yeah.
Come on, bro. So like, I understand when you start naming those streets and talking about the history of it. like these are huge cities that are very small communities.
Yeah.
Very small communities.
Very niche.
And so when you think about, like, even when we talk about violence, right? Violence gonna happen more in Chicago or Boston than it do in New York, because these communities are so small. Like New York, everybody outside all the time. Like it just seems like an open player game. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
what Boston was like for me.
Yeah,
New York was an open player game. Yeah.
These streets right here is kind of like, who are you walking on this block? In this neighborhood. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I believe you.
We know everybody in this neighborhood. Who are you?
Yeah, what is this? Like, I went to one time, my buddy Dro, who worked at Def Jam and Shady Records, a great friend of mine, he took me to where he grew up in Lower East Side, Manhattan, in the projects. And we walked in, and it was like the movie Clockers with the boys on the benches and shit like that. It's still moving like that.
That's crazy.
And he took me in a place that only he could have taken me because he's from there, and that's where he moves, and that's how it is. You can't just be looking like me in the Nike Tech suit with the blue eyes and walk up in LES and be like, hey, everybody. No,
yeah.
I look like the police.
Yo, real quick, because we got a couple past guests. Gi's.
This is a whole other show fest. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I love this. Gi's.
Yeah.
Yo, tell them where they can follow you real quick, and then I want to have you jump right back in. I just want to let somebody else in.
So it's GI's music, everything uniform, GEYEZ music. My website, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. All my platforms, man. Listen,
yo,
man.
GI's got next. GI's got next.
Dope melodies, dope bars.
We got to get up. Make sure I get some of his music too, bro.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to send it to you.
All right, love.
Salute, fellas.
All right, G. I'm going to talk to you in a bit.
Yep.
Love.
And Pete, I want to talk to you about some of my lessons with Jazzy Jeff too. I think you would really appreciate some of these things that Jeff taught me as we traveled the world, and things he told me about music and DJing. Like, we talk, bro.
My first, so peep this, right? So when I was like real young, like 10 maybe, that's when I really like kind of discovered hip hop. I had heard Run DMC, but it was like shocking to me. I like didn't know what it was. And Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was like a gateway drug to like a 9-10-year-old for hip hop, you know?
Yeah.
And when I'd be outside my parents' house, like my dad would be like, mow the lawn. I hated it. And I'd be outside, and the B-side with the beatboxing and the scratching is what blew my mind about the culture. And from then, so hold on, stay right there. Don't move. Ready? Ready? Look how fast I am. So the other day, I read the Will Smith book, you know, the new one he got. Yeah. So I went on eBay and had to go crazy and get my little joint up. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, snap.
And so I showed my wife, and I said, you want to see the first place I ever in my life laid my eyes on a set of turntables? I said, right here. This is the first time I ever seen the 1200s in the silver cases when I was 9 years old.
That's ill.
And so look where I'm sitting right now. Ready? Look. Ooh, right? You know what I mean? Like, shit affected my whole life, dog.
Yeah. The 1200s was like the Mercedes Benz of turntables.
In the cases, in the silver flight cases. You know what I mean?
So,
like,
because the 1987 release of that record, on Word Up from Philly, but the 1987 release of that first record from Philly, you know, before they were signed to Jive,
right,
like
the first
when
one.
we saw the back of that and saw that he had his world championship joint, like Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince is holding Jazzy Jeff's championship like DMC joint. He's like, that's crazy, because in Boston we all feared Philly DJs. Everybody feared Philly DJs because they were the
cash
best.
money, man. Cash money.
Cash Money, DJ Steve, I think was from Jersey, but everybody thought he was from Philly.
Yes,
like,
man.
Code Money, who was with Schoolie D. Like, everybody, when Jazzy Jeff came out, it was Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for a reason, because Jazzy Jeff was the draw, and we listened to Fresh Prince.
Yes,
and
and he said that. And you watch the old videos, like there's a on the Video Music Box documentary, right? There's a clip of them you go into YouTube, you can see the Jeff and Prince performance. It was really Fresh Prince kind of hosting Ready Rock C and Jazzy Jeff, and they were the elite talent. He was the best beatboxer in the world. He was the best DJ in the world. And Prince was charismatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that always inspired me, the whole thing. I look at myself as like a Fresh Prince,
Yo,
Jazzy
that's
Jeff hybrid. You know what I mean? Like,
and think about it, man. Like, we're talking about Jazzy Jeff, but like Rhymefest actually went on tour with him. Like,
bro,
this is his first.
Last time I
person,
seen him, he was with Jazzy Jeff, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It bugs me out because Rhymefest, I know when you live a life like you've lived, man, I don't think you really understand how many generations of people who are in the scene were following what you were doing in the battle scene, following what you were doing when you were at Scribble Jam, when you came out, when you finally got your deal, and when they put Postal going crazy on like iTunes, and everybody was like, yo, they put Fest on iTunes. It's like the song, the download song. Like,
yo,
I feel like you have no idea that there was a whole generation of young people who was following you when every mixtape came out with you and Kanye, or you know, like all that, man. So I just want to thank you, man, because there's a whole bunch of cats from Chicago like Juice, you know, like you, like Val Kill, like the Mole Men, get us like underground cats, because Boston is a really independent underground rap mecca. Like it was a jazz mecca
big
back
time,
in the 40s
bro.
and 50s.
Big
Boston
time.
hip hop.
Yeah.
Yo, real quick, before we continue this, I see KT in the building. I want to let him in. Peter Parker, I'm going to let you out, then I'm going to put you back in, Peter Parker, all right?
Hold on. Before I go.
Yeah.
Dart, did my explanation justice?
Yeah, but as far as like how deep it goes in Roxbury and the South,
I didn't get into that.
Exactly. That was the
you will. Peter
Everything
Parker, I will let you back in, but listen.
Dart, okay? I'm sorry.
Yo, you were guest number 4, Peter Parker. 4, bro. You got in early, so thank you, man. This is about giving everybody their flowers, man. I appreciate y'all.
Guys,
I'll bring you. I'll bring you back in.
My guys, Dart, appreciate you, man.
You too, man.
About.
All right, yo. Hold on.
What's good, man?
Hey.
We out here, man. We in these streets, man.
KT, what up, boy?
What's going on?
Hello, sir.
What up?
Blessings.
Love.
Listen,
Jay,
so,
what's up, man? What's up, brother?
KT was guest number 6.
Yes.
KT was guest number 6. And then we had him back again, and then he was he did a dual episode. It was him and Ski Beats. If you guys are not familiar with Ski Beats, he did majority of the Reasonable Doubt for Jay-Z album, the production. And then there was a little bit of back and forth between KT and Rhymefest, and that's how Rhymefest kind of came to be on the episode. So I want you guys to just talk it out.
Listen, I'm glad that you could use me as the springboard to get Rhymefest to come on. Because I told him just to reach out to you. I'm saying he's a cool brother. Just reach out to him. He'll probably want to do it.
Yeah.
Love, bro.
Hey, I got a question, KT. I've been thinking about this lately. People be talking about like negative rappers, negative artists, or negative content. But I be thinking, is there such thing as negative production? Can somebody make a track that has such a like to drive by to without no words on it, that's just as negative as anything somebody can say? Can a beat have evil in it?
You said, can a beat
have evil in it?
Absolutely.
Nobody thinks about that.
A beat can set the tone of the direction that you're gonna go in.
I mean, sometimes a beat drops and you can do anything with it. You're already there.
Exactly.
It just drives you.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. That's why when Ye would do things like I don't like that's that shit I don't like. When he would remix it for Chief Keef, when he would rap, the beat would change. If you listen to Lamborghini Mercy,
I know what you're saying. When his time comes, he's like, all right, I gotta switch it up.
I gotta be on some light. I gotta ride the light. I can't ride the dark part.
See,
no,
that's
absolutely.
crazy.
I could dig that.
Like we be like, bro, I think artists really need to think about the kind of beats we rapping over, like the whole vibe. The vibe gotta be like when Dre was around, the vibe was we high. You know what I'm saying? Then now the vibe is I'm depressed.
What made you bring this up about the vibes of the beats?
Because I can see the result of it in the people around me.
Okay.
Well,
I look and I see that all my little nephews got anxiety.
Yeah.
All my little nephews talking about like depression that I wasn't thinking about with the beat I was vibing to. And then when I listen to their songs, it be like Billie Eilish.
Right. I mean,
hey, Freddie, not to cut you off, but I'm about to dip. We was inside of my man's store. I'm over here. I don't know if you heard about it, but they found a girl from Boston dead in a marsh over here that a lot of us knew. So the police are up and down this block. They've been doing it all day long, so I can't be standing out here. But I just wanted to tap in real quick. I'm about to go from this store to the door of my car and get out of here.
Man, God bless that girl. I heard about that, man.
I think you knew her. You knew Chill Rap. She used to come through the store when you was working there.
God bless, man. Seriously, bro.
See, that's the thing about Boston, man. New York is 6 degrees of separation. Boston got 1.5, man. Everybody knows everybody. So when somebody goes missing, it hits all of us.
Listen, she went missing and the internet lit up. Everybody was reposting it. Like
everybody.
Find her. And that's how it should be every time. Our brothers or sisters, something's going on, we should all chime in like, yo, this is what it is. But, you know, people are too busy invoking hate, not understanding that we're in the place that we're at because we allow that separation and that division that they try to instill from years ago. They're trying to have it keep going on and on and on. We got to understand that they're in fear of us. They fear us. They fear what we are. They fear what the abilities are that we have. And if we all combine and come together, that we can build the kingdom to the point that it should be in. That's how when I'm moving around out here and these little young boys be ready to up the blick and do all that other silly stuff, I'm like, nah, that's not me, man. Like, and Freddie Lowe, you know how I used to get down.
Facts. Well, listen,
but
man.
Ain't worth it, man.
Nah, it's not. You make a great point. I appreciate you jumping on. I don't want to take too more of your time, man, but great seeing you.
Gentlemen, have a blessed holiday and evening.
You too, KT, man. I appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Easy.
Peace.
Yo, KT was the first person to ever teach me about what was really going on in the industry about, you know, ghostwriting and what happens behind the scenes, you know, because I knew him from back in the days when, you know, from Cambridge, being a writer, you know, as part of Concrete Click. But then when he got in the game, he signed my boy, Pat, rest in peace, DYS, to K Communications, his label he had. And one day it was me and my brother were just sitting on the couch. My brother's a producer, Buck Taylor, and we're sitting on the couch. He used to go back and forth to New York on the Fung Wall, you know what that's like, shopping beats. And I was sitting on the couch and KT's like, yo, you like that song? Something's playing on BT. Like, yeah. He looked at us and said, I wrote that. I was like, what? He's like, yo, you got that tape? Pull out the tape, pull out the line of notes. He's like, I wrote that. Just pull out a CD. Yeah, I wrote her verse. I wrote that verse. I wrote this. And we're just like, what? So, yeah, man, he's like one of the first people to really open me up to like what was really going on and all the other things, you know. And one of the things that, like, I was telling people, there's never going to be a book on ghostwriting. There's never going to be a book on ghostwriting because it would just crumble the understanding of the casual fan to know that, you know, it's so prevalent. But also, man, people don't understand rap, man. LL Cool J for years would say, yo, could I freestyle? Back in 85, 86, could I freestyle? And he just spit a rhyme that he wrote that wasn't in song form. To him, that's what freestyle meant. But then in Cleveland and in parts of LA, freestyle meant off the top of the dome. No, nothing. Just complete off the top of the dome, no pre-written. you know. And then they came to mean that in the underground scene in New York, and later on after we had the in LA we had the Good Life Cafe boom, and then Project Blowed, and in New York you had the Lyricist Lounge and all that. Then that whole shit had a new meaning. So a lot of people conform to things about rap, not realizing that these are new norms as opposed to the way it used to be, and shit changes over 3 to 5 years. It's crazy.
Do you think that hip hop is at an artifact stage? Like if I had Slick Rick's original chain or Jazzy Jeff's original chain, this could be put in a museum and we could tell a story of a pharaoh.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Is hip hop approaching the Shakespearean, jazzy type of stage where we can bring that value out of it?
Yeah, but we're at the point now where Harrods and all these other places are doing like auctions for like original things that were in hip hop. We're in the stage of the myth, right? Trying to get to the bottom of the myth. Who was the person who introduced jerseys to the hip hop scene? You know, who was the first person to do this? Who is, and then we're in another space where I fact check. I'm a professional fact checker. I do it for books, for television, for film. And one of the things I discovered is that a lot of golden era and previous albums have the wrong release date, because in rap we just did not do an accurate. They didn't do an accurate job of getting like dates right. Like it wasn't super important to find out the exact day that KRS-One and Scott LaRock released their first album. Like if you go on Wikipedia, it says March 3rd, but that's not the exact date, you know?
And are you saying that? Are you saying that because of what he's saying, where we want to make sure the dates are correct if we're going to be able to build this history, right?
We can't go forward with the wrong release date for De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. We can't go forward with the wrong release date.
Like a historical date. You're right.
For Slick Rick's. We know the day that John Lennon first met Paul McCartney. We don't know, and I say this all the time, we don't know the first day that Q-Tip met Fife. You know, it's not seen as important on that level.
Well, we haven't made it yet. You're right. Yeah, I get it though. I get what you're saying though, because he asked if it was still in that state yet, and you're saying no, it really is. But we have to go back and do the work.
You know what has to happen though? A lot of times, that type of stuff is like an academic commission. Like somebody will fund a grant for a historian to really go get that data. It's not you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen out of nowhere. So like all this academia that wants to have, you know, Bun B at Rice or, you know, Ninth Wonder at that program. I pray that it's not just window dressing and that these institutions can really help us gather that information.
I mean, it's important to me because as somebody who's a historian, and I always have to go to archives, I need to know. I need BET to say we're going to archive all the episodes of Rap City. I need MTV to say we're going to archive all the episodes of Yo MTV Raps.
Yes.
We need
that's true.
Somebody to find the episodes of Pump It Up, find the tapes, find the dates. So when someone comes along and they need to research something, they have that access. Because for the longest, that's been an issue, man. If we had access to these things, like, thank God that the people who watch like the Wake Up Show or listen to the Wake Up Show, or the people that listen to like Stretch and Bob were able to say, yo, I have the tapes and I'm going to put a list of every episode and who the guests were. Because if they didn't do that, we'd be ass out. Because when you look at it, if I want to know who came on the episode of American Bandstand, Dick Clark Productions has a full archive and can tell you who showed up on what date and who was the guest. Same thing for Soul Train. Soul Train has an archive. If I want to know when the Spinners showed up on Soul Train in 1977, I can find that. Can I find out the date that Gang Starr first appeared on Rap City? No. And that's one of the biggest issues we have.
Wow, that's crazy. I never thought about that.
That is crazy.
It becomes a lost culture.
Yes.
It becomes a lost culture.
Rap stuff blows my mind. Like, why wouldn't MTV has a streaming service? Like, why would they just put the episodes up? Like, I don't understand what they're doing. Why Viacom has not put that shit out?
Like, I just
you know what's crazy? It reminds me of this conversation I had the other month with Master Ace, and I said, where's the puppet?
Shout out Ace.
He said, what? I said, the Me and the Biz video, bro. Where's the puppet?
Right.
Wow.
Like,
where is
right,
it?
though.
Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, somebody who
Yeah,
was
shout out
with,
G-Spin in here.
and he told me the story of the puppet, and it was crazy. And I'm like, hip hop got so many stories. Now that you know, Biz isn't with us anymore, that puppet means something.
Yeah, I mean, Ego Trip had it for the longest. They would have people take pictures with it. It was in the Ego Trip office. So imagine somebody.
And then they threw it out. Well, he threw it out first because when he did the video, the guys on the block laughed at him, and he said Brooklyn was laughing at me like, "Oh, where's your puppet at?" And I felt like they was playing me, and the label made me put it out.
Yeah.
And Biz was like, "I don't care, you could do it," but Biz wouldn't be in the video because Marley Marl did the beat.
Yeah. So it's crazy, right? Because think about it.
Nobody beats the Biz?
No, no, for Me and the Biz. So
for Me and the Biz.
Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it, right? Because when he did Wake Me When I'm Dead, when he switched to Delicious Vinyl on the Heavy Rhyme Experience with what's the name of the group? Brand New Heavies.
Yes.
He says, yo, who's he think he is? It's supposed to be commercial like the song about the Biz, right? He switched up his whole style after Children Go Where I Send Thee, which was the last single that he did with after he got off of Cold Chillin'. So yeah, man, he did mention that, man. But there's a lot of history to
and from personal experience, I can tell you this: these bad relationships, these bad experiences we have with producers, and the way I don't know what the toxic masculine thing is about us. It makes us throw away moments and throw away artifacts and throw away anything that had anything to do with that moment and time. And some of the greatest songs, you'll look at Naughty by Nature. I could talk to you about me, Kanye, and Common. I could talk about songs. I can't even listen to certain things because a star was born from it. And it took a lot of fighting. And so we throw away these artifacts because we don't want to think about these things.
You're right, though. You just keep it moving, always keeping it moving.
Keep it moving. Like, fuck that shit. That shit be the Hope Diamond.
Yeah. Yo, I got it is real shit. I got a question though. Like, we're talking about preserving hip hop and everything. In let's say we do have this hip hop museum, right? And especially Rhymefest, you've written for a lot of people. If we did have this and we can find out, like Dart said, when the first episode was that Gang Starr was on, whatever, MTV Rap, whatever the case may be, right? Should we also expose who wrote what to give that person the credit due, or keep that silent?
It would be too dirty, man. It would be too much.
No. Look. Children need to know that Big Daddy Kane wrote for MC Lyte. Like, people need to know that LL Cool J wrote for Queen Latifah. Like that's kind of dope. You know what I mean? Because you get to know, like, I'm so happy that I know that Bootsy Collins was in James Brown's band. That's good information.
Really?
Bootsy and Catfish. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
And James Brown got their ass in shape. And they P-Funk busted out of being like James Brown too straight laced. We need to let it go.
Like, I find that shit fascinating. So if I was an outsider looking in, not in the industry, I would want to know those things.
But here's the thing, right? Because
that's me.
When you think about music, right? And the two greatest mutinies in music history are James Brown's band, which led to Catfish and Bootsy and everybody else. The brothers they were called the House Guests from Cincinnati, Ohio, ended up in James Brown's band and leading him through a new era. The second greatest mutiny in music history ever, in my opinion, was when Prince's original band, The Time, broke up immediately after they got off that stage at First Avenue, because Prince was heading up everything. If you look at the cover of the Times Ice Cream Castles album, that was not Morris Day's band. Prince put all those people in that place. And as soon as they did that first performance, he left. They didn't do a tour, nothing, right? So that mutiny led to Prince creating the family, led to the breakup of the revolution, and entered the new power generation. And all those people left and did incredible things. Jesse Johnson, when it started producing, Monty Moore, and everybody else who went off with Jam and Lewis when they had Flight Time Productions.
Yeah,
like, Jelly Bean Johnson did the incredible, crucial remix for New Edition, the dance remix that ended up showing everybody what the new aesthetic was going to be for the Janet Jackson album coming forward. So those two mutinies are the two greatest mutinies.
I'm here for this. I tap back.
Yo,
Fuck that. No, that's real, man.
Listen, usually on the Low Theory, right? For those who are watching who know how I do this, I usually only let it go for maybe 30 minutes max. I'm letting this ride, baby. It's the end of the year. 2021, we in here, man.
No. Yo, thank you, Dart, for what you do, man. You really, for people out of town that are watching, you really carrying the torch for the city and the information that you share on a daily basis, man. I like all your shit. You like, Peter's harassing me again. I see all this shit. I'm like, you just pop up on my feed, and it's always like jewels, bro. I love it, man.
Yeah,
hey,
man.
Dart.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're so apt, man, at history. Let me ask you a question about the future.
Okay.
Ooh.
I like this.
Yeah. Where's this going?
This is the
Where's
show,
this
bro.
going?
Okay, so look. I've been listening to a lot of Elon Musk talk about how, like, the next step for mankind is becoming a multi-planetary being. You know what I'm saying? And they really trying to terraform Mars. I saw something, man. They scooped a particle out the sun. They bring it back to study. You know, and I'm thinking about in 1,000 years, what will human beings be? What like and looking at where we're at now at this precipice of a new evolution. I mean, we're going through it now. What do you see us becoming?
Okay, so first I'll start with a quote to something my father told me. When I was a little kid, my father was kind of into sci-fi. He's from Honduras. And he was a straight A student in everything. My father was one of those people that felt like, if you give me a book and enough time and practical usage, I'll be able to figure it out. And he told me one time, he's holding a book by Jules Verne. He says, son, do you realize that the things that this man talked about, he made happen? When he talked about the first time somebody goes to the moon and comes back, he said that they were going to launch from Florida. Cape Canaveral hadn't even been thought of yet. And he was like, he put this in motion. Anytime man puts down something, it sets the first motion for it to exist, right? So science fiction, when you think about all the things that happen in science fiction and how there was just like a race to make it happen, right? So when I think about that, I think about like science fiction. I think about stuff like Captain Harlock that talks about the future where people are marginalized and people are trying to leave the earth, and that's where the rich people live and everybody is left on earth. The whole genre of space opera, which is that there are colonized planets that are not as well off as other ones, because we try to leave earth and we try to leave the inequity that we put on the planet, but we drag that shit into the future. Just like in Web3 with NFT, people look at that and they're like, all right, that's going to be the new space where we're free, where we can have some equal footing. No, because it's already turned into a den of inequity and some racism. So I feel like the future is going to be just an extension of the past. Do you watch a show called The Expanse?
No.
Okay, so The Expanse is a science fiction show. It's in the 6th and final season. The shit is essentially, it's The Wire in space. So if you think you're not going to be able to relate to it, it's all the dirty shit that happens on Earth just in colonies in space.
But what happens, let me ask you, what happens
to me, everything continues on and just in a grander scale. All the bullshit that we deal with.
But what happens to humans? What is our evolution? Like, well, we live longer now than humans have ever lived before.
Okay.
They have nanobots that could go in and cure any disease. Like, would it even matter if, look, bro, we're more prosperous, even the poorest of us are more prosperous than any human in any time in history. does it get better for humanity no matter what kind of shit we drag?
In a sense, because again, in the Expanse, which is crazy, it talks about how people evolve when they live in different environments and different places. It talks about how when people go to terraform, there's a whole generation of people that just like, they're just doing the dirt work, you know? They're just like immigrants doing the dirt work, and then they get exploited, and then they come up and their kids are the people that like start revolutions, right? But as far as like people evolving, when we get to the point where science and technology allows for us to space travel, and we have to do all these things to enhance our bodies, that's gonna be like the next evolution, because people don't realize
this is crazy.
Evolution doesn't stop, right? The kids that we talk about today, like how they have short attention spans, I think is misdiagnosed. What the thing is that they have constant barrage of information that we didn't have to deal with.
They're being expanded.
Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer, right? So I had this thing called free space. I could look at a wall and it could just be a wall. You know, these kids, you look at a fucking wall. If you're in a train station, if you're outside, there's advertisements there. So when I grew up in a time where I had the computer, but there was no internet, and then there was the web, right? But it was like the first incarnation of the web. These kids grow up with the web. They grow up with and also the last generation was the most studied, the most prodded group of a generation ever. There's a documentary. It's called Merchants of Cool, and it came on PBS, and it told the story of how corporations just decided that we're going to turn this whole generation into a test group, right? And that changed everything going forward in history, you know? So like when you think about that and you extrapolate that over the future, human evolution is going to be so crazy that like now the kids can completely just look at all this information flying in, and they could just nope, instantly. Whereas we struggle with that.
No, but hold on. I wanna stop right there, because although what you're saying is true about information, the ability to discern information is a whole nother thing.
Well, that's the second part. And the reason why the discerning of information is different, especially for our generation.
And critical thinking skills.
Critical thinking is because of how we got information.
This is crazy.
Here's the problem with the internet too, right?
Yo, Peter Parker, bro.
As somebody who's a fact checker, here's a big problem with the internet.
Okay.
People say all you got to do is go on the internet. Just one problem. When I was a kid and I used to go to the library, we had the card catalog system. We had the Dewey Decimal System. And you know what we had? We had a bunch of researchers and librarians there to help us. When you get on the internet, ain't no librarian, ain't no Dewey Decimal System, ain't no researchers to give you recommended anything. There's no process.
No liaison, right?
Yeah. And a human being without process is useless.
Yes, and I tell people this all the time. If you don't know that something exists, how in the entire hell are you going to go looking for it, right? So people always talk about, you did research for this and you missed this, and this. Well, I knew what to look for. I was alive. I was outside in 1989. So I knew, you know, the context of the world. Whereas if you're younger, you have no idea what to look for, because you don't know where your blind sides are, you know? So there's also that one information. So there's me being
but
older.
Here's the thing. Now let me propose this in a sci-fi fashion. All of us are programmed. Anything we think we know, we learn somewhere. I got a rap line to say, you ain't who you thought you was, you who you taught you was.
Yeah.
And so with that being the case, right, whoever creates these programs for
we lost him.
Dude, this is wild.
This is wild.
Yo,
Peter, let me
I'm
gonna let another past guest in real quick. No. Stay in though. Stay in.
No, I'm here. I want to hear more.
This is crazy. I didn't know the low theory was about sci-fi.
No, it's deep, man. It's deep, bro.
This is crazy.
It's deep, bro. Yo, love y'all, man. Peace.
Peace, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, let's let in my West Coast brother real quick, man.
Ooh.
We gotta let in a past guest real quick. My boy C4.
Oh,
Incredible battle rapper. C4's gotta jump in here. And then hopefully Rhymefest's connection will kick back in. But C4, let me see. He was what number was he? Number 21. He was guest 21.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a great conversation, by the way, Dart.
Oh, he says his reception is terrible. Give him a few minutes. But yeah,
okay.
I knew C4 from the battle scene, going back and forth with KT, legendary battles of KT, all that. And I think it was in Project Blow too, right? Yeah. So
yes, Project Blow. Yep.
Yeah, I remember there was so many legendary MCs the West Coast to kind of push it forward.
He can talk about that heavy. Definitely. You're absolutely right, Dart.
The East Coast, man, New York especially, they didn't really talk as much about how they were pushed by West Coast MCs. I feel like when there was that whole era when you had Freestyle Fellowship and Raz Cat,
yes,
and all them other cats, they really just pushed the envelope hard. And of course, the East Coast, I mean, we always loved cats like Hieroglyphics, Dell, all those cats, because they were all being brought over here all the time. Dante Ross was just bring your ass. So we kind of grew up on them, but also there was so much influence. Growing up in Boston is different because New York used to shun us. And it's a college town, so everybody came from everywhere. And then if you're from Boston,
but yeah, wait, ain't y'all Ed OG and the Bulldogs, right?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm getting Ed OG in here. He was a past guest too.
Oh my God!
But crazy thing about Ed is that I knew Ed back when he was Edo Rock, when he was in a group called FTI, right? And this is back when Gangstar was still a Boston rap group, And so that whole thing, and then you had the almighty RSO, which were the stalwarts of the scene, but also the last group to work with the legendary Paul C when he passed away, and so I got to see a whole bunch of stuff. But the thing is that we growing up in Boston, again, there's this thing called the Great Migration where everybody came from everywhere else, somewhere else, right? So my mom's from Alabama, my dad's from Honduras. So I was never tied down to what this is, right? Oh, what up? So I grew up listening to everything. I was telling people that growing up as a kid in Boston, Rap-A-Lot records were huge. I first heard Esham's Booming Words from Hell. We had DJ Paul and the Prophet Posse tapes because cats would come from Memphis because cats would sell drugs. Cats would come from Detroit with whole new shit. People come back from Miami with Poison Clan tapes. My cousins will come back from the armed forces and they would have Jam Pony Express tapes. So in Boston, we had everything. I remember we were sitting around listening to Boston radio saying, I know how to play them. I know how to catch them slipping. But OG Style was in Dallas. We had street military tapes in Boston. So
crazy.
People about my experience growing up in Boston, their minds are blown because in their opinion, it's just all white folks. And they have no idea that there's any Black, Latino, Central American, anything in Boston, right? Or they don't think that when they think that we identify with rap, it's just New York. The fact of the matter is New York, man, was so tough to even acknowledge each other. New York was tough. It was hard to get boroughs acknowledged. We had to fight for their love. New Jersey was always fighting to be acknowledged. Connecticut.
But you know what? But you also know, as that can build a genre, and in the case of something like jazz or blues, it can strangle a genre. The Puritan type of struggle to not acknowledge or expand.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What do you think?
But the history of not expanding something always comes at a cost. Like we were talking earlier about James Brown. James Brown refusing to stretch the funk resulted in that mutiny. But James Brown's not wanting to stretch the funk also resulted in a whole nother genre of music. And it resulted in a whole bunch more careers. And then James Brown's career kind of went into
But did James Brown expand the funk? I mean, if you think about Living in America, even if you think about the JBs, you know, from where James Brown started, he expanded it as much as what you can expect of a musician.
Well, yeah, also, but you got to remember too. Remember when Full Force resurrected
Full Force
Scotty Brothers with Gravity and I'm Real?
Yeah, I'm Real.
They put him back on the back on the
on the charts.
Yeah, so it's crazy because we have so many things that we could attribute to, like not wanting to expand on something. Like we're coming on the 30th anniversary of the end of the pop rap era, 1991, right? And it all started because fucking MC Hammer had his breakout single, right? And then it became something where like rap was at the top of the pop charts, top of the Billboard 200 almost all of that year, 90, and then going into 91. And then 1992 starts off, and the first thing that happens in January 13, 1992, which starts off the second golden era, is when KRS-One throws PM Dawn off the stage after reading about what Prince B said to him. You know what I'm saying? So it says there's this waves, man. It's waves, because when people fought against pop rap, it set up that second golden era. It's that 2-year period where people were just like, we don't want rap to go here. But the thing was that people were fighting against rap going pop. Like homie said, rap is not pop. If you call it that, then stop. But rap was already pop. Rap was already at the front. Rap was already taking thanks to Arsenio, thanks to
real quick. I see I want to C4 in here. C4 was guest number 21. Terminology's in the building. Terminology was guest number 26 on the Low Theory. We got a lot of heavy hitters in here.
Absolutely. What up, Term?
What up? You know, we can't talk about Boston rap without talking about Term.
Facts. ST. You can't say Boston without ST.
Facts.
Correct. Listen, go ahead, Giaz.
What I was gonna, I wanted to, you know, Dart is the official hip hop historian. You know what I'm saying? So
correct.
I more or less got a question for you, man, because the whole dialogue that we've been building on. Listen, Term, I see you, baby. The dialogue I wanted to talk to you about is what's your thoughts on the evolution and where the music is now. Here's why I asked that, right? Because I know the typical answer is going to be, you know, what the new versus the old. I'm not asking for that purpose. Yeah. I'm asking in the sense where you rose a good point. You said that you know, the Boston was almost a melting pot for the style of music we listen to, right? Where in that time frame, a lot of places only listen to their region or their pocket of hip hop, right? So I feel like today's generation, because of the internet, they actually listen to everything. There isn't you can't really readily identify with where an artist is from based on their sound, because he could sound like he's from the South and be from New York. He could sound like he's from New York and be from North Carolina. What's your thoughts on that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's been a thing since like the advent of real-time internet, right? The second we got 24/7 internet, it was over. There were kids from my neighborhood who had white tees on who sounded like they were from Atlanta because they were listening to rap music. Yeah. There was kids, like, but the thing is that you can't put the shit back in the horse, right? When you look at someone like A$AP Rocky, when he first came out, I had no idea he was from Harlem. When I first heard Peso, I mean, when I first heard like Everything Is Purple, all that shit, like his first stuff. But that's just going to continue because there are kids that grew up with SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And when you come up with that, there's no limit to what your influence is. Yeah. Whereas back in the days, if you came up in a certain region, that was your sound. You had your Miami sound, you had your New Orleans sound, you know, and maybe you were influenced by somewhere else if you came from somewhere else or your family was from somewhere else. But, you know, that was pretty much it. Whereas, like, there's no telling where the future is going to go, because the way we interact with music now versus there being local scenes is completely different. And people create their own sound. People create their own stuff. Like, there's always going to be a Dungeon family somewhere. You know, there's always going to be a Moleman somewhere. There's always going to be some crew that creates the sound. You know, so that's never going to stop.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yo, listen, man, I love the dialogue, man. This has been you know, we done went from beginning to the middle to current hip hop and everything in between. You know what I'm saying? To technology. I mean, y'all been, listen, man. This has been a really dope live, man. Real talk.
Technology, the future, everything, man.
Yeah.
Everything, man. All right, let me see who else part of our past guests that might be in the building. If not, yeah, like you said, it's been about a good solid hour of incredible conversation. So let me see, man. I'm glad everybody's been able to jump in. I'm glad. I'm happy for you guys. I'm appreciative that you guys jumped on the platform. Who knows what 2022 is going to hold? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. The low theory is going up.
One of the first times I got a chance to really actually build with my dog Dart on this level too. Like, I never realized how. I mean, I always knew that you were an amazing writer and journalist. I never realized how much of a hip hop historian you are until this moment. You know, like this is for me is like, oh damn, like I always knew you were a vast well of knowledge, but never knew, like, dog, you go back, you know what I'm saying? Like back, and then forward too though. So that's that. I'm just
old.
No, you're not. No, you're not. That's why I had to bring Dart on here. Dart is like a living, like, history book. You remember back in the days when people used to buy encyclopedias? Like, he's like,
I used to read those.
Like, that's crazy, but people don't. That's not a thing anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Encyclopedias is not a thing. You are that encyclopedia to Boston and hip hop.
It's called Google it.
It's called Google, right?
Yeah.
It's called Google now, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yo, for those who are on here who are not familiar, man, you know, I've been doing this every single week, bringing up a special guest. We've been chopping it up. If you guys want to see the past episodes with these people, with these amazing people, go to my bio, subscribe to the YouTube. You can see all the past episodes. Today is just about giving everybody their flowers and thanking everybody for 2021. That's what it's all about, man, for real. Yeah, DJ Daz wants to jump in. I mean, you weren't officially a part of the Low Theory, but guess what? I'll bring you in for a couple minutes, man. Because if you want to send me a request, you better be on your ish. So let's see what you got to say.
Hey. What up? First of all, Dart and GI's, long time, man. Long time no see.
What up?
Been a minute.
Chilling. I live in Kansas City now, so let me just break it down. I lived in Boston primarily all my life. Everyone that you brought on, I basically know personally. Actually, me and KT had a battle at the Western Front in 2003. I beat him. Didn't know how, but I beat him. But we and KT were cool after that, and we've been cool ever since. So shout out to KT, definitely a legend. The state of hip hop is beautiful, man. I mean, as a DJ now, to be the one playing the music and everything. And of course, I play old school because that's my foundation. But to see how music has transcended time, just so many genres. Like, if you had told me back then that you could blend EDM with soca, I wouldn't believe you. And you can blend soca with house, I wouldn't believe you.
What
all these genres together, you can blend them in one big melting pot and keep the party going. And that's the lost aspect of DJing that I feel needs to come back, which is why I like Jazzy Jeff, because he does that and does it well. I could talk all day about this type of stuff, but just to be in a building virtually with brothers that love the culture of just music, not just hip hop, but just the culture of music where you can bring up historical facts and bring up certain time frames and certain styles of dress and everything, and everyone can vibe with it somehow, some way, whether you were there or not.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. So, Freddie, I've watched a lot of your interviews. You are a dope ass dude. I love the shit that you do. Just keep on doing what you're doing, brother. Enough respect.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you.
What's the scene like? Out there. What's the vibe like in KC, man?
Oh shoot, the scene in Kansas City, they ain't one. They ain't one. And that's sad. And I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I've really tried to search. Like, okay, let me put it like this. I just got booked to do a New Year's Eve R&B showcase. I was so excited. The shit just got canceled because the band and some of the R&B artists literally got into a scuffle at a meeting and canceled the event. I'm like, if that's what the vibe is like in Kansas City, I don't want to mess with the music scene here. Because Boston was never like that. Everybody got along. No matter what type of music you did, everybody got along. And I've only been here for a year, and that's the first thing I see with the artists in this city. I kind of want to come back to Boston.
Word, man. Listen, man, appreciate you jumping on, brother, and sharing your story.
Do you mind if I just say one more thing, then I'm going to leave?
Go ahead.
All right. I'm not trying to overtake your show, but tomorrow night I have the blessings and the pleasure to interview Speech from Arrested Development. I'm not going to say it. Just go look on my Facebook, my Instagram. The flyer is there. And I can't wait to interview that brother and he has so many jewels. Because like y'all were speaking about legends and stuff, I bet that brother has many stories. So
for sure,
I'm looking forward.
man. Yeah, good
Thank
luck.
you for letting me come on.
Good luck with that, man. Take care.
All right, y'all. Blessings.
Peace. All right. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yo, you got used to rhyme under the name Metaphoric.
I was just gonna say though, I was gonna ask him what his name was as a rhymer.
It was Metaphoric.
Okay. C4 in the building.
What up?
West Coast zone right here.
You got a full cipher going, man. Everybody just jumping in and out.
I know, man.
I 16 bars or what?
I wanted to get you on when KT was here. I wanted to get you on when Rhymefest was here, man. But you're here. You're here with G.I.'s, who's an incredible rapper out of Massachusetts. You're here with Dart Adams, and Dart Adams has a lot of history about the West Coast, just like you do, man. So I just want to give you your flowers, bro. You were guest number 21, and we're on 42. So thank you.
Damn.
Yeah.
Double up.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir, man. And we were talking about the when you were on my episode, we were talking about that documentary that you were in.
Right.
Highlighting the Los Angeles underground rap scene. If you guys are not familiar with C4, I mean, incredible battle rapper. He actually battled KT on HBO's Blaze Battle. That was kind of the reason why we got him in.
Way back.
Okay, yo, I remember that, bro.
He battled KT twice. That was the second time because he was Matrix.
I did. So yeah, House of Blues, 2000. It was February 29th. I remember that because it was a leap year.
Mm-hmm.
So the year 2000, House of Blues, man, it was fire. We had it was some dope MCs. My man from Freestyle Fellowship, Peace, was in the battle. My man Loud was in it. Otherwise, who beat Eminem in the Rap Olympics was in it.
Was Medusa in that one?
Medusa, yeah, I beat Medusa. So that's how I actually got popping. I won the first round against KT. They tried to line. They brought KT from Boston, so all the New York cats. I don't say New York, East Coast came out. I think they lined up with me against him, thinking it was going to be an easy win, and it didn't work out that way. And then about another homie third round.
Medusa's a beast. She's a legend.
Absolutely, she's queen of the West Coast underground for sure. She beat Peace in the first round. It was close. They're like brother and sister, so he showed a lot of respect. And then she beat Otherwise in the second round, and I already knew you can't edge out Medusa. You know, when you're going up against the champ, you gotta make it clear. I knew I had to win her fans over. So yeah, I knew she was coming up. So I had to put together some lines in my head as I was preparing for her. And that's the advantage you have when you're battling somebody who's known. You know what I mean? You can go in on them. My bad, go ahead.
No. What I was gonna say is I feel like you know, I remember being young watching that, man, and the impact that made on me. But now that I'm like fast forwarding to where the battle scene is at now, y'all were like the predecessors for what is happening right now in terms of this actual scene. That's like it would without that HBO Blaze battle. I feel like what we have now, centralized version of battle rap, it wouldn't have never. Like,
well,
it changed the whole thing, dog. You know what I'm saying?
To me, I feel like it was stages though, right? Because you had the Blaze battle was just taken from what was already going on with the Scribble Jam that was already going on in the West Coast with their battle scene, or is going on in New York with their battle scene, right? You combine those three, and then finally Blaze was like, yo, we need to have our own battle.
Yeah.
And what it was publicized, and it was on K, and they put it in a magazine. And when you see our Slang Ton, who passed away, who was one of the outsiders, one of the most enduring images is that picture of Slang Ton after he won his battle, right? That picture. And then, like, you think about Carefree, who the only reason people remember Carefree is because he won one of those battles. But then the thing is that when you had Otherwise, all these people that were legends already from other battles, and you see them in living color on the TV, and then they sold it on VHS. Then they switched it to DVD. That created the whole scene that led to like the Fight Club on TV, that led to Direct Effect when they had freestyle Friday battles. You know, so like they were like one of the evolution stages, and if we didn't do that, then we didn't get to the next level. Absolutely.
Yeah. 100.
Yeah.
100. Absolutely on that. It was just, it was steps. I mean, the real battles went down on a weekly basis, smaller venues.
Mm-hmm.
The Blaze battle came because you had Blaze. Vibe magazine actually put out Blaze magazine to compete with The Source.
Yeah.
And then they had those advertisements reach out to us to get in this battle. And then Blaze magazine went under. They ended up buying Blaze battle from them, and it went on HBO. It was a crazy night. It was an insane amount of fights at Hammerstein Ballroom and out in New York. But the battle didn't even start till like 2:30 in the morning. It was 4 a.m. We were still going. It was those days you had like Black Rob and Shine when they would do their songs like 7, 8 times in a row, and it just kept dragging on. But it was dope. I mean, I was glad to be a part. You know, contribute something to our culture. So that was dope.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Definitely. I mean, that's the reason why I got you on, man. I mean, people need to respect your name out there in the West Coast. You put in that work early on. And
it's all good. I get love, man. I show up to spots. I still rock shows. I'm out here in Riverside, so I'm about an hour outside of LA. I moved to Texas for a while, but came back and just wanted to contribute to the hip hop scene here. Somebody was on earlier talking about, you know, Kansas City doesn't have a scene. I seen it kind of died when I came back. So I've been throwing events. I've been doing like artist battles, and we got like Sly Boogie, my man Dirty Birdie, and some other dope cats out in my area. Obviously, you got Hit Boy blowing up. I don't know him personally, but he's making a name for our area out here in the Inland Empire. But yeah, just contributing to my scene locally. And when I go to LA, New York, when I travel, people always show love. So, and it's appreciated. So.
Word, man. Thank you for jumping on the platform, bro. I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate it. I'm glad you got to connect with these guys, man. And
but definitely follow.
Yep, I'm gonna follow y'all. Let's tap in, man. Happy holidays, happy New Year to everybody. Y'all stay safe out there. I know things are starting to get crazy again. So I'm gonna tap in with y'all, man.
Likewise, bro.
Peace.
Likewise, bro. Peace.
Respect, y'all. Peace.
All right, man. Yo, Dart. Yo, GIs. I think that's the end, man. The 2020-21 wrap up. 2022 is going to be crazy.
It went longer than you expected, huh?
It went way longer. I was like, yo, I could stretch it for an hour. This is way over an hour, man.
Yeah.
It did go longer, but listen, it was incredible, though. It was incredible, man. Great conversation. Great energy. And that's what I already knew was going to happen, was this good energy. I was like, because typically what I do is I go and I do a lot of research and I get my questions right. But this time around, I was like, nah, let's just have a straight up conversation. Let's just have fun. Let's make it a low theory party, man.
I actually like the open format, man. It kind of gave everyone a chance to speak, speak their piece, man. I thought that was dope. Yeah,
Word, for sure. Word, man. Well, listen, guys, if I don't see y'all, then Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Definitely.
Stay safe, and we're gonna continue rocking with this in 2022.
All right, no doubt.
Big
All right, brother.
Peace
All right, brothers, be good.
All right,
Peace. Peace.